We've a story to tell to the nations that shall turn their hearts to the right.
My father gave me a little calf, and my mother gave me a feather bed and some quilts. I sold everything I had and struck out. I didn't get to stay the whole year, for my money gave out, and I had to go back home.
Young women at the turn of the 20th century, such as Ella Jeter, sacrificed much to go to the Woman's Missionary Union Training School for Christian Workers. Yes, it gave them a chance to pursue a higher education, rare enough in that day and age, but it also gave them a chance to pursue God's calling on their lives to be missionaries. The training school was established, as it reads in its mission statement, to train women for efficient service in foreign, home, and city missions and as church and Sunday school workers.
But in 1907, the women had a place to call home, and it was in Louisville, Kentucky. And the partnership began with Southern Seminary, where women could take classes, receive degrees. They were taught many things at the training school about how to be a lady, how to live in other cultures, and how to express themselves in public gatherings. And so the training school was more than just a seminary education. It really was a way of equipping women to function in many cultures around the world.
The training school provided new opportunities that redefined and expanded what was considered the woman's proper role in that age, that of mother and homemaker. With the training school, women claimed another role for themselves, leaders in the church's global missions and local ministries. These young women, many from modest means and rural backgrounds, found a home and a future.
They gave their pennies that they had saved from selling the eggs of the chickens on their farms. They had made hams and homemade preserves that they had sent to House Beautiful, where the women lived. And they had made great sacrifices to send women to school.
The WMU Training School was connected to the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary and was founded by 5 women, Southern aristocratic leaders, and each a true Southern lady. As W.O. Carver, a popular professor at the training school, once said of the early students at the school,
"Women in this great missions enterprise have rarely asked for anything except the privilege of unselfish and unostentatious service. They will never forget to be handmaidens of the Lord."
In 1952, the WMU Training School became the Carver School of Missions and Social Work, named to honor Dr. Carver. In the decades that followed, Baptist women and later men came to the training school to be equipped in the classroom and in the community.
Maud McClure, who was the first principal of the training school, established in 1912 the Goodwill Center. And that was a community center or a settlement house. And the purpose was to work with the immigrants and the poorer neighborhoods in Louisville. What was wonderful about that is it gave the students a chance to try out what they were learning in social work, and it became the first field component of the social work curriculum.
Now, I can't tell you how it was at House Beautiful, except through some of the rules that we had. We kept a time book that we turned in at the end of each month and were graded on how we spent our time each day of that month.
I got the feeling that I was a part of a big mission plan. It may not be that I would go to a foreign field or I would be a pastor in a church or married to a minister, but that whatever I did could be a mission field.
In 1963, the Carver School of Missions and Social Work was merged with the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky, by action of the Southern Baptist Convention. In 1984, the school became the Carver School of Church Social Work, with Dr. C. Ann Davis, a graduate of the last class before the merger, as its first dean.
And I have basically 3 reasons as a Christian that I do this. One is the life and model of Jesus, what he did while he was here. The second is as I understand both the justice and the priestly mandates of serving other people in the Bible. And thirdly, the nature of the church. I understand the nature of the church to be that we're to be doing what Christ did until he comes again. I want to do that with the best knowledge I can have, the best skills I can have. And when I looked around for a profession that would teach me how to do church, social work seemed to be the one that taught me most from a professional standpoint.
In 1979, Ann Davis brought me to Southern Seminary as the 4th faculty member in that little program to begin to develop a program of social work education for the church.
Through the 80s, the Carver School engaged hundreds of men and women in their callings to be social workers for the church. But as schisms developed in the SBC, the Carver School became a victim of the denominational rift. Once again, societal change and the question of women's roles in the church would be the central issues.
The decision was made to dismiss me as dean, and it was a time of incredible turbulence. It was heartbreaking in many respects. Certainly we never saw coming the decision to close the School of Social Work.
I was worried about what that meant for the gospel, because I was worried that we were deciding as Baptists at that point to leave out half of the gospel. When Jesus said that the greatest commandment was to love God with your heart, mind, and soul, and the second greatest commandment was to love your neighbor as yourself, I felt like we had made the decision to drop the second commandment.
Generations of graduates of the WMU Training School and Carver School went out to serve the community and world around them. Alumni have served on every major continent, as well as in their local communities and congregations.
They have provided outstanding leadership in state WMU work, as missionaries around the world. And so if I have to ask myself, was it worth it? Was it worth being a part of the difficult days of controversy, of difficulties in financing, and all of those things that happened during the early years of the WMU Training School? I would say yes, because of the lives that have been changed, because of the people who have come to faith in countries around the world, and because of the influence in the role of women in leadership that school throughout its 100-year history has made.
Despite the anger, grief, and sense of abandonment that many WMU Training School and Carver School alumni have felt since those controversial days of the early 1990s, many picked up the mantle and found new ways to carry it forward.
Dr. Preston Dyer was the director of the undergraduate social work program at Baylor. He'd been here for many years, and he had a dream of graduate social work education. When he heard what had happened in Kentucky, he invited me to come and join him in developing a graduate program. That was 1997. It was so exciting in 2005, 10 years after I had been dismissed at Southern Seminary, for us to become the School of Social Work at Baylor University.
I've gone through a period when I've seen destruction instead of building. And I feel with Diana at the Baylor, and that she will have the love for all of us who are building together in social work.
We're grateful that the Baylor School of Social Work is there today to pick up the mantra of what was started 100 years ago.
The determination of those early Baptist women to combine faith and education in social work for the church is the legacy today's School of Social Work students have inherited.
That's my ideal, to be the presence of Christ in that community. Also to help address those physical and emotional needs.
I think I was just really struggling to find a practical theology, and I really wanted to invest my life in things that were eternal, and kind of doing some soul searching. I found that people and helping people, empowering people to improve their lives was something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
But I get to be part of this process as this person moves from victim to survivor to thriver, and to be part of that is incredible. So that's what Baylor Social Work prepared me to do.
Faculty and staff made me feel so warm and welcome here that, I don't know, it kind of fit like a glove. And I just kind of decided that's where I want to be.
Just being able to, I guess, hear how the missional church is working and operating in practical ways that this can become our reality was really exciting for me. And I had a complete aha moment when I said, oh my gosh, this is really happening, this is gonna work. But I really am excited to be able to do something.
There is much to do. Today, societal needs are still great as they were at the turn of the 20th century when the WMU Training School began.
We live in a world where poverty is deepening, where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And we need leaders who can not only work with individuals, but can strategize how we're going to respond to the needs of large populations of people.
Addressing these social issues will require creative collaborations among all those who profess to adhere to the gospel.
The ends of the earth have come to our communities. Not really a question of us thinking about going over there as much as they're here. They're in our neighborhoods, people from other nations, other languages. The premier mission field is now in our back door, and we really need the School of Social Work to be right there, pointing us to answers and solutions for the future of our communities.
We also need leaders who can work with congregations and their volunteers who really want to make a difference in their communities and people's lives and want to be effective.
So partnering with Baylor is just a natural for us. I don't know of any other school in the country that's doing this.
Well, we're in another era of change in our world in this 21st century. And I think it's imperative that with a more global environment, that we have a grand university such as Baylor setting the pace for what it means to be engaged in culture.
Today, our predecessors from the WMU Training School and the Carver School have a new home, a new place to be at Baylor's School of Social Work. Their story provides the underpinning for the stories yet to be told by a new generation of social workers for the church.
The story didn't end with that chapter. That one of the themes during the closing was the hymn of We've a Story to Tell. So I think that the legacy is being picked up by the Baylor School of Social Work.
I think about those women who sold their eggs and their butter and sewed to support those first women who came to the WMU Training School. The students who are coming to us today are making similar kinds of sacrifices. I want them to feel the blessing of the church on their lives.